Hey gang, we are here to talk about tattoos and resin art. And I have a little sheet of tattoos here. I got these from Temu, but they also have them on Amazon. They're really inexpensive. I also have these ornament molds. I've already placed a thin layer of resin in them so that we can go ahead and start. The resin's in there, it's hardened, and it's got a thin coat on it. So what we're going to talk about doing is putting the tattoos on them and decorating them a little bit. So let's get started. So I have the tattoos cut out into little pieces for the molds. Let me just make sure this one looks kind of big. Yeah, it'll work. All right. I have a little bowl with a wet cloth in it. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to take off, they all have a plastic sheathing on them. You're going to take that off, and then you're just going to put the tattoo face down in your mold. Try to center it as best you can. And I'm going to go ahead and do all three of these. So take the sheathing off and then try to center them in your mold. It's kind of hard because you can't see it. But do the best you can. Sheathing off, tattoo down. All right, and then you take your wet cloth and you just get the back completely wet. And you can see it starts, you can see where it's getting wet. So I'm just gonna completely wet it with the rag. You don't want it soaking wet. Got something on me. But you want the entire back wet because that's how it's going to release from the paper. All right, so let me move my bowl out of the way so you can see a little bit better. You can sort of see some droplets on there. And I'm just going to keep wetting them because I want to make sure that they're on. I don't want to waste anything. I want to make sure it peels off easily. So they're all good and wet now. Making sure. All right, put that back in my bowl. Now I have a paper towel and I'm gonna blot them a little. While I'm blotting them, I'm pressing down to help the tattoo adhere to the resin. And I wanna dry it off a little bit. Pressing it down, not rubbing, just pressing. All right, once I've done that, then I'm ready to remove the backing. Might be a little bit harder with the gloves on, so I'm actually going to take one off. And you could see I slowly peel it off. And we have a snowman on there now. And move on to the next one. And you see I have a little snowman on there too. Now you can put colored resin, sparklies, whatever you want to do. I'm just doing these real quick to show you how to put tattoos on them. So I didn't want to do a lot of color or anything. The next thing that I like to do is I like to go ahead and put some sparklies or something. I don't want these to be too plain. Get my glove back on. All right. So I don't want these to be too plain. So I have a little Pearl X, Pearl White pigment. So I'm just going to use a little of that. And I have this little paintbrush. It's not straight across because I don't want lines. It just has little, it's a little round thing. So I'm going to take this, get a little on my brush, tap it in the lid. And then I think I'm just going to do a little, like hopefully what will look like snow around the edges. Nothing too much. Trying to avoid brush lines, maybe a little more at the bottom. And these are just fast ones. Be creative. This is just showing you what you can do. And I haven't done it with this Pearl X yet, so it'll be interesting to see how it comes out. I don't know how much you can see in the camera of what it looks like. Might have put a little too much on the one side, but that's okay. You'll get the gist of this. We have our tattoos on and we're just putting some sparkly on there. All right, I think that's good enough. Put the lid back on. All right, so I don't know how much you could see that, but that's what they look like. This one looks as brush strokes, so I want to give it a little more brushing. All right, now I've got this one. Maybe tap it a little bit more around the edges. And then this one, tap it a little more, just showing you what I'm doing. And then finally, these aren't very deep molds, so I don't have a lot of room left to put more resin. So I put some in a little cup so I can pour it better with the spout. Just gonna put a little in each mold because we want to cover it up, make sure it's there and it's not ever gonna come off. And the resin sort of magnifies it. You may be able to see the tattoos a little bit better in a minute. And I may be able to get the resin in here so that it gives us a nice little dome. If I dome it though, I'm not going to use alcohol spray because then it will go over the sides. Let's see. All right, so those all look good. Now I'm going to give them just a shot of heat. Get some of the bubbles out. Not going to keep it there too long. Now I can't lift them up and show them to you a little bit more because I'll spill the resin, but they are done and we'll come back and I'll show you what they look like outside the molds. All right, let's take a look at how our tattoo ornaments came out. I haven't used these molds before, so it'll be interesting. And I have an extra one because I had one left over. And what do you think of that? I probably could have gone with the color, but it looks pretty cool. A color backing or something is what I'm thinking. Or maybe brighter colored glitter, but I think it does show you that the tattoos do work. I do think maybe a glittery color or something would have been better. Well, no, we'll give it a go again and see how it comes out and do maybe some other colors. I think that mold may have scratches on it though, which stinks, but it still came out pretty good. And then the last one.